So, you're wondering, art school, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Should you go? Should you self-teach? Well, hi, I'm Snowmew, and I went to art school, so I'm here to talk about my experience in hopes of helping someone figure out their journey. Back in 2019, I quit my full-time job to go back to art school. I was assessing my life at the time, and after a couple years of soul-searching and life coaching, I realized that going to art school was one of my bucket list items. So I started looking around at art schools. I started doing a lot of digging to learn more about why people go to art school versus why people recommend the self-teaching path, so I could figure out if going to art school was something that I really wanted to do, especially because art school can be pretty expensive, and there's some online courses that aren't as expensive that get you a similar education and show you and teach you similar knowledge to what you would learn in art school. I found an art school close to my home. I ended up applying and getting into that art school for the fall semester. I had the means to pay for it, so I was seriously considering going to art school and doing a multiple year-long course that would get me a master's in art. The degree that I ended up getting is a visual development degree. My goal was to become a concept artist, learn about character design, learn about environment design, props, and vehicle design, all that fun stuff, in order to work in animation or video games or the movie industry. For me, the major decider for going to art school was, in addition to learning the skills that I wanted to learn, was gaining the connections and meeting folks that were on a similar journey to me, so I could create that network of peers that could be a support system that goes both ways. You know, they would support me and I would support them in their journey, and we would end up creating, a really cool community that helps each other learn and grow as artists. For me, this was a lot about what I wanted to experience in art school and what I thought I was going to get out of art school versus just learning the art on my own. Another big thing was accountability. At the time, I was struggling with juggling life and work and teaching myself art. And so I wanted a structure that would force me to get assignments done and force me to push myself in order to learn what I needed to learn in order to grow as an artist. Because at the time there was a lot of, push and pull between the desire to learn and also the need to keep working and get more money and the rat race and all that fun stuff. So that took a lot of thinking and soul searching to really come to that conclusion. I think a part of what helped me there was I did take some online courses that taught some of the skills that I did relearn in art school or bolstered in art school, but they were either the self-taught route or the small class route online, and there was a lot less accountability and a lot less kind of peer-to-peer connection that I was looking for. I think one of the biggest things that came out of art school that I sort of knew was going to happen, but also didn't really realize and put into words, was the amount of feedback and the amount of rapid feedback iteration that happens in school. Because you have an assignment, right? It's due usually like week over week, and you start at the beginning of the week with something and you have to show your progress throughout the week, and you get feedback from your peers, you get feedback from the teachers, you get external feedback depending on where you're posting it in different communities, and all of that can lead to rapid learning and rapid improvement because you're getting such specific feedback on your specific pieces of work. It helped me grow very quickly and gain a lot of confidence in just knowing that I could do some of these assignments that I had tackled previously on my own outside of school, but hadn't really completed to a level that I was proud of. So yeah, I think I learned a ton at art school in a very short amount of time. I met a ton of people that I'm still very close with, that we've all been supportive of each other on our art journeys. I think personally the timing was a little weird because I started art school right before COVID, and being in the studio and drawing from life models and having the teacher walk around and correct you in real time, and even feedback from your peers of, hey, those proportions look off, or hey, did you take a step back and look at the size of that hand, or maybe you should check out that shading of that form. All super helpful. And then to suddenly shift to an online setting where I'm, again, working by myself and not getting that rapid feedback was a little jarring and not exactly what I signed up for. So I ended up graduating quicker than I originally anticipated, just because I wanted to kind of get out, and we didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last. And I figured, maybe I can, now that I have the fundamentals of learning in a classroom setting, I can then force that upon myself and learn better on my own, and use the network that I did build while I was in school to really lean on and help foster that learning outside of school and in that remote setting. I think a lot of people talk about art school as this thing that's not worth it because all of the stuff you learn in art school, you can learn online. And that's not wrong. I think, for people who maybe are unable to pay for certain art schools or unable to travel to art schools, they have a lot of the resources online that they can use. They can create those habits and the discipline in order to make themselves practice and get better. They can find communities in order to build that support network that I found to help them, grow as an artist and learn how to critique others' art without being mean or hurtful. But I think a lot of that falls onto the student or onto the artist to push themselves. So if someone has pretty bad self-motivation, then, they might be okay for a little bit, and then in a week or two kind of fall off and start looking longingly at their dreams and have stopped moving closer to them. So I don't think that art school is for everyone. I think people can absolutely succeed without art school. I think certain class structures help certain people. I think there's certain class structures online you can find, like CGMA or certain other, like Proco's live classes or Schoolism even, where you can join a classroom setting and learn how folks interact with each other in order to build some of that accountability and discipline on your own, if that's something that you struggle with. I think that there's some value in joining a system like a school in order to gain the benefits of the school's network and the connections and, meeting a lot of the teachers that have been big in the industry and have learned on the job. And so, you're getting an education that is relevant to today's world. Again, I think for me, going to art school was something that I enjoyed thoroughly. I absolutely loved my experience. I, wish I had gone sooner, but that's neither here nor there. I think that I got a lot out of it in both the class material and the people that I met and the professors that I met through the classes. I think I learned a lot about what a real art school was like from the inside that gets a little distorted through social media and YouTube, and everyone's different, right? Like everyone's experience is different. Every school that people attend is different. So you get a different lens compared to what you experience yourself. I think going to art school is one of those things where you get out as much as you put in. So if you go in with these expectations of what you want to learn and what you want to get out, especially in and out of the classroom, of saying, I want to learn visual development, I want to learn how to do creature concepts, I want to learn how to do character concepts. I also outside of the classroom have goals like I want to make connections, I want to join clubs, I want to, build that network. Not explicitly with the goal of like, hey, if person gets a job at Netflix, they could then refer me and then I can get a job at Netflix, though that does happen. But just making sure that, they're genuine friendships and you're wanting to see each other grow as artists. Even though it's a competitive field, I think it's an industry where we all want to see other artists succeed. I know it brings me lots of joy when I see one of my artist friends making a cool project or working on an awesome game or getting hired by a cool studio. And I know that, I had a little part in helping them get there, which is kind of fun. And it's always fun to see your friends happy. So, sort of a casual chit chat this video, but I think for art school, it boils down to what do you want to get out of it? What are your explicit goals for going to art school? And is it something that, you can facilitate through location and money? At the end of the day, only you can make that decision. If someone else tries to tell you to do one thing or another and doesn't know your whole situation, then you might regret it or you might be resentful. That goes for a lot of things, though. I think for me and going to art school, I would absolutely recommend it to someone who knows what they want to do and knows what they want to get out of it and knows that they can be that hard worker they need to be. They just might need a little push or they might need a little structure to help them get there. But they're passionate and there's, an underlying ambition there and that they'll use that degree and those skills that they learn to their fullest. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. Nothing too crazy or exciting. I might go into more specifics about my art journey and my art school experience specifically if folks would like. I'm super happy to talk about my decision to go to art school, especially after I finished an engineering degree, kind of a swap. But, if people want to learn about the specific classes I took and what I learned in the specific classes or the way that they were set up or the project structure, really happy to talk about any of that, both in and out of art school and help people learn and grow as artists. Because I think that's fun. So anyway, Snow Mew, out till next week. Bye.